Welcome to the Chronically Will podcast, where we have real conversations with community that need to be heard. On this episode, you will hear from our friend, Rakhi. Diabetes is truly all Rakhi knows, having been diagnosed at the age of 4, almost a quarter of a century ago. Something I must insert is that shortly after her own diagnosis, her father was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Later on in our conversation, I find out that her grandfather also lives with type 1 diabetes and how she even remembers him pricking his fingers over the years. But like with many things, there were no conversations about it. She also has a little cousin that lives with type 1 diabetes. Since diabetes is such a great part of the person that she is, on the day that a cure is here, her only plan is to keep living. Being from the UK, we speak about a multitude of things, including access to insulin, technology, and community. Today, Rakhi has a great support system that helps her be at her best. Rakhi is as solid as a rock. She truly wants to be a part of this space and help lessen the burden that is living with type 1 diabetes. Not only does she gift pure hope and joy with her forever standing smile and cheer, but she explains throughout how diabetes, although a burden, it has not limited her in continuing to chase her dreams. Our friend, my sister Rakhi, is someone we all should get to know.
So I'm Rakhi. I am 28 years old. I've been diabetic, a type 1, for 24 years now. And I'm living in London at the moment, and just ready to speak with you and what you have at me.
28 years old, 24 years. Wow, that's like all you know is diabetes.
Basically, that's all I know.
Basically, look, you learned to walk, you learned to talk, you went to, I guess, grade school, but even before that, you learned diabetes.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say my mom learned more than me at that point.
Right. Yes. We'll definitely get into that. So you said you're in the UK, but you said right now.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Are you originally not from the UK?
No, I was actually born here, but I live in London. I moved to London 6 years ago, but I'm from a different city called Nottingham, which is 3 hours away, like East Midlands. Mm-hmm. So I haven't really seen my parents for a long time. So I need to go and see them soon. That's what I meant right now. Not in another country. I wish I was. I was in Mexico beginning of January, so I wish I was there.
Okay. Where were you on holiday?
On holiday, yeah.
Look, I'm going to try. Look, I said vacation in my head, but I said holiday. You're in Nottingham. Oh, yeah. How far from the palace?
I don't know. I don't really know London. Do you know what? I've been in London for 6 years, but I don't know anything about London. Mm-hmm. So areas and places and how far I am from them, no idea.
Right. Yeah. But you're in a big city. I was just I recorded with someone last week, and she lives in New York City, and she works in the film industry. Like, she does documentaries and everything. And she said that she can never imagine herself living anywhere outside of New York City. She said, if someone gave me a job, I said, what if it's your dream job? And she said, I can't leave New York. She said, New York is the best place to live. And she said, matter of fact, she said, I have vacationed in London. And she said, that's the closest thing to New York City. She said, maybe I would think about London. But she said, but I don't, she's like, New York City, everything is so accessible. She was like,
it's also very expensive.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, you live in London, that tells me what you just said compared to everywhere else you've been, like throughout the UK. It's super expensive, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous how expensive it is. They should pay us more so we can buy more. That's how it should be.
Right. You give more, you receive more, right? Right. I mean, that's how the economy goes, right? It's more so instead of growth, it's more of like a cycle, a revolving
Yeah.
door. So, I mean, that does make sense. Why they don't do that? Who knows?
Yeah, yeah, true. There's just greedy people out there, that's why.
The world, dog eat dog, cruel world we live in. Um, Seriously, and as people living with chronic health conditions, I mean, nothing is seriously set up for us to succeed. The
100%.
majority, the majority of the things that we do, we learn from our own lived experience or through like peers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, when I was diagnosed, it was I think a few days after. It was either before or after. I can't really remember now. My dad was diagnosed with type 2. So we were literally diagnosed within like the same week.
Mm.
But he got type 2 and then I was straight type 1. But I feel like mine was more hereditary because my granddad I've got quite a few people in my family that have it.
Oh, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then you always get that old stigmas like you've ate too much sugar while you're growing up. That's why you got it.
Hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. But
So how
sometimes it's like, yeah, I agree with it. I'm like, yeah,
so
maybe I
how many sweets did a 4-year-old eat?
Yeah. No idea.
Was it like, look, nonstop, mom, give me water. Oh, throw some sugar in my water, please, mom. Uh, I want some broccoli. Can you add some honey to my broccoli? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
no, not at all. Mhm.
But yeah, to be fair, sometimes it's nice just having this, knowing I had it since
Mhm.
young because all I ever know. I
Right.
actually feel a bit bad for people that have got it like in their teenage years or through that time you're going through school because it's like a big transition that you're already going through, and then you got that on top.
Right.
Yeah, I feel for them people.
That's a great transition. Going from a child to a teenager that's almost an adult, like at those whole adolescent years, you have so many things that are occurring, so many hormonal imbalances and fluctuations that are brought about, especially for a young lady, like your mental, like
Yeah,
it's a traumatic thing to be diagnosed with a chronic health condition during that period of time.
yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess it's one of those things. It's probably better as well because you grow up a bit quicker, so you kind of understand more quickly because you have to.
Right. So, like considering you were basically birthed with it, your mom, your dad, like your parents, I'm pretty sure they have stories on top of stories. Like they can write a memoir just about every single year of
Yeah,
you living with diabetes up until you were out on your own. And I mean, just like my parents will still call and check up on me. Like, I haven't heard from you in a week or so. Like, how have you been?
yeah.
Um, your parents may still be like, call up and check up on you. How's diabetes going? Almost like it's your sixth sense
Yeah, yeah.
diabetes.
To be fair, like me and my family are not like great people of opening up,
Mhm.
like talking about feelings and all that kind of stuff. So when I do call them, they don't ask me. I just tell them anyway because I know they're not going
Mhm.
to ask. They want to ask, but they're just not going to until I bring it up myself.
Right. They're like, I knew diabetes before you.
Yeah,
Like, you can't hide that from me. You have to tell me.
and I know how to count carbs better than you do. Like no.
Not today. Let them know, like with technology and the advent of faster acting insulin is a little different, ma.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, but they always, I mean, they should always have our best interests at hand.
yeah,
So I'm pretty sure like your parents really took it upon themselves to like get all the books, all the manuals, speak to everyone to make sure that their baby would grow up with I consider like a less of a burden,
yeah.
because there's no way you can tell someone at 4 years old that today you're going to uh preschool with a bag of diabetes with you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's
Like,
crazy. I actually remember when I did start like school, my mum like would come in, she'll spend like the whole day there, and then there would be like she goes, if anything ever happens, if you have a hypo, just go to reception and ask for the box of sweets. And I'm like, okay. So then I did that. And then as I grew older, I was like, oh, you know what? I can get out of my class by saying I want a box. I'm having a hypo. I'm going to get my box of sweets.
Oh, you were throwing up that diabetes card. That flag.
Yeah, do you know what? I used that throughout the whole of school. And it's so bad, but best card to use. No one questioned you.
Right. Now, did any peers doesn't look like anything's wrong with her?
I mean, they don't know, to be fair. They didn't know that much about diabetes, just that I knew that I had it. So then I used to, at one point, go to the staff room if I ran out of sweets and get chocolate. And then I'll bring one back for my friend and be like, yeah, take the chocolate.
Right. And it probably was, for the most part, anything you told them about diabetes was basically the legends. Like, I don't, and the next person they met after you with diabetes, they were like, no, Rakhi told me this way. We have to go get the chocolate.
Then I'll be like, listen, every diabetic is different.
Right. No two persons living with any chronic health condition are the same.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your background. You live in the UK. Were you born in the UK?
Yes, I was born in the UK. I also have two older brothers as well, also born in the UK. But my parents were actually born in Africa. My mum is from Tanzania and my dad is from Kenya. And then they moved to UK, I think when they were around like 11 or 12, I want to say. Can't remember the age exactly, but yeah, they moved to UK after that and then ended up growing up here. So yeah, big Indian culture in Africa and here.
Okay, so even Kenya and Tanzania are great differences. Like, you got more of like
East Africa.
That's what I mean. Yeah. East African. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I've never been to Africa myself, but
not yet.
Not yet. But it is on my bucket list.
Right.
So yeah, it's been. I don't speak much Swahili. Well, my parents never really spoke that much. We speak more Gujarati. Gujarati is our language. So
your background is your parents is Indian?
Indian, yeah. So we're Hindus and speak Gujarati, yeah.
I do a lot of research on chronic health conditions, especially diabetes. Like, when I go back and I look at files dating back to the advent of insulin and when it's first used in 1922, when you research people of color and given insulin, I always come up with there was a child, I think he was like 12 years old at the time, in India, who was the actual, I think, like the first person of color given insulin. And after the University of Toronto, like, India was the next location where insulin was more so readily available.
Yeah.
Look, you knew this, right?
To be fair, I went to a camp a few years ago, just full of diabetics, and there were, I think, 3 people there from India, and they kind of said the same thing to me. So that's the only way I know it.
Right. I mean, even though, insulin wasn't readily available to people of color, like, at the start, and like, it was like a whole decade later until
we got it.
until we got it, because they said that we couldn't get diabetes. I don't know why. They said it was more of a middle to upper class.
Yeah. Which is crazy to think about now. It makes absolutely no sense.
Right. But even today, people try to make sense of, they're like, oh, you're a person of color, so you have to eat this way, or like, things affect you differently nutritionally, and things like, and sometimes I get side eyes like, you're not a scientist. What do you know about biomedicine?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just whatever people read online as well, they just believe, like, all the stigma around diabetes. It's sometimes like when I hear it, I'm just like, this is so baffling. How did your brain accept that as information?
Especially over the last 4 years, it's just gotten incredibly worse. The people who thought they knew everything, they know everything now. They literally became in-house doctors. They're
Yeah,
no,
I know.
yeah, they're no longer going to regular screenings, getting their children the medical needs that they need. They're home remedied everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How does it work for the for where you are, like with diabetic supplies?
Um, for so you, if you're rich, if you're rich, your worries are always low, like anywhere. Um, as far as like if I need a prescription, it does take a lot to get certain things. We have to get prior authorizations for certain insulins. A lot of people have to get prior authorizations for continuous glucose monitors, meaning that the physician has to actually, the pharmacist has to send the script back to the physician. The physician has to write off and authorize it. And
Cool.
yeah, but with standard health insurance here in the US, it's like nothing is the same.
Mm, yeah.
So if your employer provides insurance to you, health insurance to you, it doesn't say that it's going to cover certain things. So there's different grades in health insurance, like different plans. So not only do you have to worry about getting the health insurance, once you get it, you have to make sure that the plan that you get covers um,
What you
you
need.
see, your insulins, your seeing specialists, all of those things. And then on top of that, once you find out that it's covered, you have to figure out, okay, is this one better than the next one? Should I get health insurance from, let's say, the government? Where we have we have the marketplace, which is called considered Obamacare. Like it's so much comparing and contrasting, trying to figure out what is best, and it happens all the time. Like it's like
Gosh.
it's nonstop, like every so many months, and then come January of every year, the new year, where everyone's fighting to secure insurance, secure prescriptions, because you don't know if your employer is going to change their plans
Yeah.
and go with a different uh prescriber or insurer. It's crazy. Even the medical facilities that we see, like the doctors, the endocrinologists, they all don't align with what our insurance says. So
Uh,
yeah, yeah, it's a
okay.
lot.
Now I feel really bad because that sounds horrible.
It's horrible. And I mean, seriously, I my uncle who's been living in Germany for the last 30 something, no, 40 something years, 41 years. He was here last summer, and we had a long, like 2 hour conversation about healthcare in Germany as compared to here in the US. And he just was like, I don't understand this. He's like, it's just not fair, because he's been a RN and in the military in Germany and everything. And he's like, how can they charge you to stay alive? And I said, I said, we're actually paying to die, like literally.
Yeah, that's so sad. See, I'm quite lucky in the UK. We have the NHS, so I can literally just, if I need anything, I order it through them, and
Mhm.
they like my insulin pump that I have. I didn't put a penny towards that. It was all through the hospital. I just had to hit a criteria to actually for them to actually fund it for me.
What do you
Uh,
mean by a criteria? Like
so
within your
basically,
health?
yeah. So you like if you're having like too many hypos, they'll put you on the insulin pump. Or if you have trouble bringing like your HbA1c down, um, what else? You have to make sure so to actually, if you're not a person that like tests your blood sugar a lot, you'll have to test it at least like 4 times a day continuously.
And you have
Uh,
to journal all of that.
yeah, you have to journal all of that.
That's
Uh,
something we refuse to journal here.
I used to refuse to journal all the time while growing up. I hated it. And when I did do it, I just used to lie on it, which made no sense.
Mhm. They knew.
They knew, yeah. They always like, how did you get great sugars, but your HbA1c is so high?
Your machine is off.
Yeah. Oh, I had sugar on my hands before I did it.
Right, right.
um, but yeah, I feel well. I feel quite lucky to have it. I feel really bad for you. I wish I was
Don't
better.
don't feel bad for me because I was speaking to someone last week in Uganda, and just knowing the needs of the people there, in different parts of Africa, East Africa, like it was just like I told her, I said, and I told everyone here in the US. So I told her, I said, I'm going to extend my olive branch worldwide to where if you or anyone needs anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me because I'm going to find some way to get it to you.
Yeah, that's true. Like saying that, I've got loads of sensors and stuff left over. So if she wants any, she can have them.
I'm going to take a note of that. What kind of sensors do you have?
I think they're Freestyle Libra 2 sensors.
Hmm.
Um, what else do I have? I'm gonna have to look in my cupboard and I'll let you know after.
Okay. Yeah, because she was stating that she tried or she did a trial with a Libre sensor many years ago, and everyone was like, "What is that? Like, how does that work?" And she's like, she only knows one other person in Uganda who used a sensor before.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
and she's like, it's a country of 30 million people. They only have 4 endocrinologists.
that's crazy.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
to
that's actually I actually do feel for them. It's like it's difficult for them to even get supplies, whereas at least we can get supplies.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
just you have trouble getting them.
Right. So
But yeah, if anyone needs anything, I'll let you know if I have any spares.
thank you. I appreciate that, Rakhi. That's what it's all about, connecting communities. Because I mean, if the medical people that are supposed to provide us with the care we need and transitioning and making our life a little bit easier, if they're not able to do it, then I would reach out to my neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Someone who's living this. I mean, they have supplies. There's many of us who have extra supplies, whether we done transition to using newer technologies, equipment, insulins. So, and we never throw that stuff out.
Oh no, I try and do you know what? I'm so bad as well. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people do this, but like in vials, I make sure I use everything in it before I throw it away. I will not throw it
Oh
away
yeah.
unless it's empty. And then one year I had an empty one. I just left it in the fridge, so I put it on my Christmas tree as an
Mhm.
ornament.
Look, I'm so bad with that like every single like pump I use, like I use the syringe, I go inside and remove every bit of it. Like every bit. And people are like, how'd you get those extra 10 units? I'm like, and I show people like, look what this does. Like
Yeah,
this is liquid gold. We people have died for this.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good. We don't waste insulin. That's good.
Right, right. You said your parents are from India, correct? Well, I'm not going to say from India. They're in the UK, correct?
Yeah, they're in the UK. Yeah, yeah.
They grew up in India until they reached a certain age.
No, they grew up in East Africa
East
until.
Africa. Oh, yeah. Okay, okay. So hold on. Do they have direct roots in India? Like, do you have family?
I don't actually have any family in India that I know, but my family's quite big, so I could. I
Mhm.
just don't know about them.
Right, right, right. East Africa. Do you have your parents going back and travel?
My mum and dad went back to Tanzania like a few years ago to see my mum's. My mum had her brother there, so yeah, they went to see him.
Mhm.
I still have a few like family members there, but I don't think my dad's been back to Kenya for a very long time.
But most of the family have basically like migrated outwards.
Yeah, so I think most of them moved to like, well, they kind of scattered, but they're like in the UK. So I have one uncle that just moves every so often everywhere. So
Mhm.
he was at India at one point, then he moved to like Cyprus, and now I think he's in Scotland now.
Oh, he's one of those type of people.
Yeah.
Look, zero worries, zero cares. I can just pack up and go.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, living life. I wish I could do that.
Look, can't do that with diabetes. Or
I know
can
I have to come
you?
back so often to
Right.
get my supplies.
Right. I mean, because you don't want to just pack up and move here to the US knowing that the
Absolutely.
struggles of the
You
insurance.
know what? The funny thing is, people used to say to me, like, "Why don't you move to the US?" I'm like, no, that's like a death wish sometimes.
And look, it's not a death wish. I mean, everywhere has its ins and outs. Like when we consider like the
Yeah.
NHS, um, are you do you have to use certain insulins or uh insulin pumps or and sensors?
So I don't think so. I only got the Dexcom recently, and that's been out for a very long time. So I got the Dexcom 6 that I'm using now, along with the Omnipod 2. No, 5, sorry. Omnipod
Omnipod 5.
5. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah. I didn't
So
know they upgraded until they said, "Do you want to upgrade?" I was like, okay.
right, I believe that was available maybe fall 2023.
I think so. I think, yeah, well, I've been using it since last. No, I haven't actually. Or have I? I actually don't remember now when I got it.
Look,
I think I got my Dexcom last year, but I couldn't start using it until I got trained on it. So I had it for like, I think I got it like mid-year in like July something, or maybe August or something like that.
look, that's diabetes brain. Like I understand because I'm up
Everything
here.
just gets merged together, doesn't
Look,
it?
while you're telling me that, I'm up here trying to think. I'm like, when did I start using the Omnipod system? I think I started first using Omnipod in 2021, like November, and then I started the Omnipod 5, just like you, same time. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Look, same time, whenever that was.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, let's go with that.
Yeah, yup. That's exactly when it came out. Thanks for reminding me. uh, growing up in the UK, how was it for you? Like, did you have a lot of friends and family around you?
Yeah, actually, I had my family that was there, and then I had a lot of friends that from my primary school moved to the same like secondary school. So we were like, everyone that I knew already went to the same school, so everyone knew that I had diabetes as well. So it was kind of nice. Everyone knew. It's just the new people you met, you're just kind of telling people. But I did struggle a little bit in school, like telling people about it. Not that it was a big thing. It's just I don't want to make a big fuss about it because then people start to act different towards you, and I hated that. So I'm like, just treat me normally. I'm a normal person. I swear.
Right. There's a episode of Caillou.
Yeah.
There's an episode of Caillou. I forget what it's called. Something has snacks. It's about a girl who's a type 1 diabetic in his class, and everyone's questioning like, why does she have extra snacks? And then the teacher lets them know like she has diabetes, and like the kids are like, I have diabetes too. like no, you don't want this at all. Even though to you being, I mean, it was more natural because it was all you knew.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. But those kids really wanted diabetes just to have those snacks. Look, I would give all the snacks back.
Yeah, it's like, take it. I don't want it anymore.
hmm Yeah. So, what are, I mean, I'm just getting to know you. What are some of your, like, the things that you're interested in, like some of your passions?
Oh, okay, that's a good question because I don't really have many.
You
To be
like to
fair,
laugh. I do
yeah,
see
oh
that.
yeah, of course, I love to. I feel like nothing should bring down your own sanity
Right.
at all, even if it's so bad. It shouldn't. Like, there's always something positive out of negative, right? So I don't like being negative all the time because I feel like it's the wrong way to think. So yeah, I don't think like anyone should be negative that much because there's always a positive out of it. And the same goes for like my sugars. When I have a bad reading, I don't look at it and be like, oh my god, it's the end of the world. Just
Right.
learn and move on from it.
Mhm.
But passions, I've started going to the gym, and that's like been an experience as well because I haven't been gym in like 10 years, and trying to figure out sugars and gym and what to eat
Mhm.
has been a challenge a little bit
Is
with
do I use this for my legs or my arms?
yeah. And I notice as well when I'm on the treadmill, my sugars tend to spike. But if I'm running, they tend to like dip. So I'm just like, okay, so I can't walk on the treadmill because that's going to have the
Right. It's
opposite
probably
effect.
more so the impact and adrenaline of the treadmill.
Yeah, exactly. And then I normally do the treadmill for like 10 minutes and then go to my class. It's a nice little warm up. But yeah, just I think I like going out with my friends, like eating. I love food. I love food so much.
You
Um,
love food. Like what are some of your favorites? Because we did mention before we got started that I was eating some spicy food. I was eating some jerk. Yeah.
okay, so I love jerk. I love Jamaican food.
Mhm.
I normally get like jerk chicken and jollof rice and stuff like that for my lunch at work if I go into the office. But yeah, I tend to like more, I don't know, I'm more like a ramen, Korean food, Japanese, Chinese type of girl. I don't like fast food like McDonald's, KFC, Burger
Same.
King. I hate that kind of food. It just, the look of it just puts me off.
Mhm.
Um, but like sushi, I love sushi. Sushi is probably the best thing I could have, but it's just all carbs, which is sad.
Right. Does your blood sugar usually spike when you eat sushi, or have you figured out a way after eating it so much like you know what to do?
Um, no, because I feel like everyone's made different. Like, depends what it has in it, and they all have like a different effect. So if you're just having sashimi, that's not gonna have anything because that's just pure meat. But it's the ones with like the rice around it, or I don't know, what else do you put in the sushi? Just all the meat and the sauce and everything
Mhm.
tends to spike. But I have noticed that if I have a huge carby meal and I just sit down and do nothing, I will tend to go higher unless I go for like a walk or yeah, just like a walk up the road or around the block. It tends to kind of level out. But it's just as soon as I start moving, because your body's not burning it, I tend to spike.
Right, but you know how to correct, so it's not
Yeah.
that big of an issue. I've I've always often wondered, like, for someone who was diagnosed so young, um, does you does that affect how you go about like dealing with certain things? Like when you hear people say they've been through diabetes, burnout, and because it's basically been instilled in you since as far back as you can remember, um, do you ever see people like via like social media and their postings and things and you question or you wonder like how like why are they going through it that way? I mean, we know that no two persons with living with diabetes are the same, but do you ever like think of those things?
Um, I guess so. I kind of sometimes ask why that someone else is going through that. What haven't they learned, or what aren't they seeing to know what to do next? But I do feel like some of the information that we have there is quite limited. Like, there's so much you can ask your doctor, but they're just going to know what they know unless they're living with it through
Right.
like textbooks and research and uni degrees or whatever they learn.
Mhm.
That's all they're going to know. But yeah, it is a bit difficult knowing that other people are going through stuff that maybe because it's a lack of education and you have to try and normally outsource that information if you need to know it.
How's the weather there?
Oh my God, it's absolutely horrible.
Raining? Is it raining and cold?
It's so cold. That's why I'm wearing a jumper inside my house. It's
That's how
so
this is. That's
cold.
why I have this hooded sweatshirt on. Like, yeah, it's cold. It's cold, raining, damp, wet.
It's
Yeah,
horrible, isn't it?
yeah.
Well, this is
And
normal for UK though. It's always cold and dark and dull.
no, it's not.
It is.
No, it's. I've seen the beautiful pictures.
Have you seen how happy everyone is when the sun is there?
Yes, it's like serendipity.
That's because everyone's out in their beer garden getting drunk.
Okay. Is that what everyone does in the UK? Everyone has a beer garden. With like,
um, no, I wouldn't say everyone, but I
mhm.
feel like even like during work days, Tuesday's like the new Friday. Like you will see people drinking all
You
day.
said Tuesday is the new Friday?
Yeah, like people go like as
Hmm.
in work wise, like work events, normally on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Thursday as well. People love to drink on a Thursday.
Well, I've heard like 30 is the new 40, but Tuesday's the new Friday. Wow. Look,
But I feel like that's a UK thing. Like UK people love to drink. Not me though.
yeah, people do whatever they want to do nowadays, right? Look,
Exactly.
the pandemic.
Yeah,
Like
that just made everyone go crazy, isn't it?
everyone, the pandemic has changed everything for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
Yes, hopefully, our children, if you decide to have children, um,
One day.
one day, they'll be able to change the climate and make the world a better place. The same thing, the same rhetorical thing that has
Yeah.
been that has been said and quoted over and over again.
You're
Um,
gonna change the world, little one.
look, I'm optimistic on that. Like, I mean, like I know, like my youngest, he's my son, he's 10 years old, and that he wants like he loves science, world history, biology, botany. Like he loves all of those things, and he's like real like he's brilliant. And I tell him all the time, you're going to change the world and stuff. And he's like, but what if this happens and that happens? I'm like, but you're still going to change the world.
Yeah.
Like, like, I'm like, it may not be as like as a culture shift, like how the pandemic has culturally shifted everything.
Yeah.
It may just be something small, like the advent of something or finding a certain cell or organism that may be an intricate part into
Yeah.
changing just the way people live.
Yeah, 100%.
I
I
mean,
mean, the way I can't believe that we used to go office 5 days a week. That is mind-boggling to me. And now I just go once a week. I'm so lazy, but I only go once a week.
don't
But
even want to do that, right?
yeah, I don't even want to do that. I can get so much done at home, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how much you can do at home when you're just working from home.
Right. You can do so much at home, like reach for your tea.
Yeah, yeah, I don't even have to move that much. Like I can do my washing, I can like I can vacuum, I can cook. I don't have to come home and think, oh, there's no food. I can
Just
actually
think,
cook.
I mean, we gotta, well, I have to pay for diabetes supplies. I was about to say we had to pay for diabetes supplies. So now we can use our funds to go towards other things, but I just cried on that one. It's like,
Just move to the UK, you'll be fine.
look, I have been off. Like people have said that previously. My best friend, so his family's from Sierra Leone. I met him here many years ago, seventh grade or so, and then he moved to Washington D.C. and he lived for a short time in the UK. And he's like, he met a girl there. He thought he was going to marry her. You heard me say thought, right?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. So, but he's like you should come here, and yeah,
I think it might be nice for a holiday, but
right.
but I feel like sometimes like if people that are not from like the UK and come from elsewhere, they normally love the UK. Like I have a lot of like Canadian friends and South Korean friends, and they
Absolutely
love,
love it.
yeah, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like the weather is horrible. That's the only thing I'm hung up on, the weather.
Right. So when you came this way and you went to Mexico, were you like, this is the best?
Yeah, that's the first time I've been to like, well, Latin America or anywhere in America. So I was loving life, and the food was amazing, but it's very expensive.
It is. So me, like, if I'm going to take a vacation overseas, to a place, and I want to, like, you came here, like, you were able to enjoy, like, probably the beaches and everything. Like,
Yeah,
I would go to maybe like New Zealand or Australia.
yeah. See, I have a friend from Australia as well, and she prefers UK, which is again mind-boggling to me. Like it's Australia.
Now all you have to do is convince that boyfriend to make sure he has a job that will be able to pay for all of your medications so you can come over here to the US or to a territory around here.
I can't lie. My boyfriend probably knows more than I do about diabetes. He did so much research when we got together
Mm-hmm.
to the point that it started annoying me how much he knew.
He burnt you out from what he learned.
Yeah, yeah. And then he was like, he's a very caring person, so he wants to make sure like I'm okay all the time. He even went to the point he was getting spreadsheets out. We were going to do weekly chats, but I hate stuff like that, so I didn't do it,
Right.
which annoyed him even more. But yeah, he's very on it. He wants my sugars to be on point, which is a good thing, I guess. It's just irritating.
Right.
But
Because
it's good.
now that he's done those spreadsheets, he can dictate. He knows everything now. He knows the ins and outs. He knows our secrets. Like you gave him our secrets. Like how could you do that? Like,
I didn't even give him no secrets. He did it.
look,
He did it all himself.
look, he's like looking like, okay, her blood sugar is at 5.1. She's getting an attitude. Let me insert that into this Excel.
I can't lie. It probably says that on it.
Look, that's crazy.
But no, it's a
But
very
it's
nice thing. No one's
yeah,
ever done that
it
before.
shows how much he truly cares and
Yeah.
is embedded into you and your relationship. So he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. I agree.
Yeah,
It's just very irritating when he does it.
yeah. Let the diabetes people know out there. There's no sharing him.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. He's mine.
Right. Right. You already poured this dust honey on her. He's your type. What they consider it type 3.
Type 3. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? It's weird enough. Because I've had diabetes for so long, I didn't know there was more types than just type 1 and type 2 until like my, probably say like teenage years. Then I was like, oh my God, there's more types of diabetes. Like, as in like gestational and
Yep,
what was the
gestational,
other one?
LATA, 3C.
Yeah, it's crazy how much I didn't know.
They even consider like Alzheimer's a form of diabetes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Right. We consider like our glucose does help dictate and manage a great portion of everything we do.
Yeah.
So, I can see why there's more, and I'm pretty sure in the future there's going to be even more than what we know about today. Because this revolving or evolving door of diabetes that keeps on growing and growing. Because I know growing like up, like I knew no other diabetics. Like, but now everyone's diabetic.
Yeah, it's actually but I feel like as well, like growing up, I never really, because I didn't really speak about it because I felt like I was in denial for a very long time. So because I didn't speak to anyone about it, I didn't really know anyone. And when I used to go to my appointments, there was no kind of like support group, anything like that. So it was literally, I made like best friends with my nurses. And I just, it's weird enough, like every appointment I actually wanted to go and see them and just catch up. And it didn't come across like judgmental either. Like it's just like two friends talking. And yeah, it's just now it's crazy.
Before joining the diabetic online community, like I literally may have met like one other type 1 in I don't know how long. That was probably like 16 or 17 years post diagnosis at the time. So
Yeah.
the diabetic online community has that's one great thing that occurred post, like during the duration of the pandemic.
Yeah. A lot more people got together just because
Look, I thought you were going to say a lot more people got diabetes. I was
no,
about to say,
I mean
no.
they might have done, they might. But no, a lot more people got together, and it was, you could see how like everyone wanted to help each other as well because everyone's going through the same stuff. Especially if you're stuck indoors as well. All you're going to do is eat.
Right.
Well, that's
And
what I did anyway.
some of the first research that was given or put out there in this space was from the NHS, talking about how diabetes and COVID, that strong inclination of like whether people were going to need long-term care or even people passing. So I think once people in our community saw those things and we all started buckling down, like, what am I going to eat? How much am I going to work out? Like, and once we figured that out, like, we share that with community on how we can help each other throughout the pandemic. And we came out on the other side of it. So many people.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like we came out better as well because we understood ourselves a bit more.
Yep. We learned more about our own health, our well-being, nutrition, all of those things. Look, you're about to get certified as a person who looks at exercise equipment.
Honestly, when I signed up for the gym, I looked at all the equipment in the gym and I was like, I have no idea what any of those do. And now I just go to the classes because I'm too intimidated by all the equipment.
You're going to figure it out. Next time we have a conversation, you're going to be talking about how you've been powerlifting.
To be fair, I did take my friend to the gym and she was showing me what to do on some of the machines, but I don't think I can do it by myself.
I remember when I was younger going to the gym, it was like I always told my brother or whoever I was dating at the time, like, let's go to the gym.
Yeah.
They're like, why can't you go to the gym? No, we need to go to the gym. They're like, I don't feel like working out. I don't either, but we need to go.
See, that was me and my boyfriend as well. Like, we used to be like, we need to go to gym. And they'll go to a period where we'll go together. And then there'll be one day like, I don't want to go. Then he won't go. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, don't copy what I'm doing. He was like, no, if you're not going, I'm not going. I was like, oh no. And then we just stopped going. So yeah, at that point, it wasn't good. That's probably why I haven't been gymming for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. And then now, because we basically signed up to a nice gym. We're going like every single day.
You didn't turn the noun gym into a verb. I haven't gymmed in a while. Like,
oh, true, yeah.
Yeah, gymmed.
I'm making up words now. There you go.
Yeah, I feel like I'm forced to gym regularly. I coach a middle school track team, and our season just started. So we actually started yesterday. That's a whole nother thing. Like, it's a middle school, private school, all girls track team.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So my daughter actually attends the school and all her and her peers. So I have to take myself out of the role as dad, father, and just be coach.
Yeah. Is that difficult?
It's not difficult because I hope that she learned the lessons at home that she would take outside, but I do like see and bite my tongue sometimes. Like, oh, she's just being a regular 13-year-old girl. So yeah, you remember being a 13-year-old girl, right?
True. Yeah, I want to avoid my parents at all costs. So
Yep, that's her. Except for like some days, like yesterday, she was in the bedroom and I could hear her talking to my wife, and she's like, I said, what, you in there having a therapy session? She's like, oh yes, I needed this.
We can be really dramatic, can't we?
I was like, that's good. You had your session. Now she's like, can we go get some wings?
Yeah. She's got her head on right. I like her already.
Right. So we've talked about some of your passions or things that you enjoy doing. At the beginning, you did mention something within family. You said your dad was diagnosed type 2 around the same time as you being diagnosed type 1.
Yeah, so I think we were diagnosed on the same week, or maybe a week apart. Can't remember what it was exactly, but yeah, he got diagnosed with type 2.
I've never played diabetes tag. Never.
Not tag.
Diabetes tag. You're it.
Yeah, it was weird how it happened. And my dad, I grew up. My dad's job wasn't. He owned his own news agent, so I had access to crisps, chocolate, literally sweets, everything bad for me I had access to. So and he was running it as well. And I was basically at that point just copying everything my dad did. Because in my head, I thought we were both the same. So if he does something, I can do it. And then I didn't realize I was doing that until my mum pointed it out. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I am copying everything he's doing. And my dad used to hate like my mum saying that to him. And he was like, oh no, Rakhi can make her own choices. I'm like, he has a point too. I can make my own choices. But yeah, it was difficult, especially because I was in denial about it as well. So I thought I just wanted to be a normal person, whatever that means. I wanted to be that normal person. And because I wasn't, I was trying to act like I was and ignore my diabetes because of it, which just went like in a downward spiral after. But eventually I kind of understood a little bit of what I need to do, what I need to change to stop whatever I was doing to myself. And then that's when like my mum was like to me, I'm not going to test your blood sugars for you anymore. I'm not going to help you with anything.
At what age was that?
I don't know. I feel like I was in my teenage years. But yeah, she was just like, I'm not going to do that anymore. You need to take responsibility of it. And then I kind of did. I don't think I did a great job at it, but I did.
I mean, you're here today.
Yeah, I am here today, but I feel like when I actually met my boyfriend is when I started realizing I was like, you know what? I'm doing too much. I'm miserable. Everything I'm doing is not working. I need to talk to someone. I need to do something. I need something to change. And then I think having my partner there that did all that research kind of helped me get like back on track and what I needed to do and how to do it and all that fun stuff.
Right. Plus, he had all the spreadsheets.
That as well, yeah.
He had all the spreadsheets. He could tell you when things were going to change.
Honestly, he probably did graphs and everything.
Look, he probably still has them embedded in his head. Like, yep, yeah, yeah. I know when to add here, divide there, and she'll come out. Yeah. She'll come out my perfect Rakhi.
Honestly, it's actually quite mad, like how many spreadsheets he has, but I love him for it. It's nice.
That's great.
I don't like looking at it at the time, but I'm sure in a few years' time I'll look at him and like, you know what, that was a good time right there.
Right. I was wondering if when your dad did get his diagnosis, about the same time as you, if he ever questioned or wondered, like, why does my little girl have to take insulin nonstop and I don't have to? Like,
I don't think, well, not that I can recall anyway. I don't think my dad ever questioned it. I think he just accepted it because he got his through stress. So no one in his side of the family has it, just him. And having like his own business and stuff and maybe not eating properly all the time kind of took a toll on his body. And I think that's how he kind of developed it. But touch wood now, he's doing much better. He's hardly taking any tablets. Sugars are always level. And he does a lot of exercises as well. Like he will always go for walks every single day because his job is driving now. So he drives everywhere. And then when he comes home, he'll eat and go for a walk and then kind of just help himself regulate and be more healthy.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't think he's ever questioned it, to be fair.
That's like how you stated that your mom was like basically like you're mimicking or copying your dad. I mean, upon his baby girl being diagnosed, dad probably was like, I need to buckle down and get this together because I mean, even at that young age, before the chocolates and everything were absorbed, your mom, like you probably were mimicking your dad even that young, 3-4 years old. So that's like,
probably right. Yeah.
Yep. Lead by example.
Yeah. Funny enough, before I was even diagnosed, I was staying at my grandma's house. And at that point, I think I was like wetting the bed a lot as well. And there was one night I was like to my mum, I was like, I really need to go to the toilet. And my grandma had like an outside toilet. So my mum took me all the way there. And as soon as I got to the toilet, I just ended up wetting myself instead of doing it in the toilet. My grandma comes out and she's like, Rakhi's diabetic. And she was, my mum was like, don't be silly, don't be silly. And then my grandma was like, go get her tested. And then literally, I think it was like maybe like a few days after that, I was like having trouble breathing or something like that. You know, the ketoacidosis like symptoms, that's what I was getting. And then I went to the GP, they did all the tests, blood sugars and whatnot. And they were like, you need to take her to the hospital right now. And yeah, it just all started from there. I just remember just being in the bed and like, just everyone, like doctors coming, my mum and dad's there, looking really worried, like, oh my God. But yeah, that's how it started. And that's all I can remember. Like growing up, I feel like I've just blocked out most of it, but there's patches that I remember.
Right. Probably the more important things.
Yeah.
You probably remember more, like considering you grew up with a chronic health condition, you may remember or have great memory of things such as like the things that were more like loving, endearing, the fun times, because diabetes is, I mean, really, it's not something that's truly like we're not passionate about it. Like growing up with it, it's like it's a heavy burden on ourselves and I mean your parents.
Yeah.
So it probably was like not something they really spoke about much. They just took action and did.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite, I think maybe when you get it as well, you try and do everything impulsive and you do what you know as well. Sometimes people don't go out there and do their own research and then know how to do it better, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was speaking to a young lady earlier today, and she was talking about because she got diagnosed, she was 9 years old, and she said that she's like she was wet in the bed, and she was like, I was 9 years old, beginning fourth grade, and I don't know why I was wetting the bed so much. And she said it got so bad she went on a vacation, uh, and she was in a car, and even before that, she said she was using the bathroom so much. She said she would just go to sleep and just be like, so she could avoid having to go to the bathroom. And she said she would like wake up like soaking wet.
I think I might have done that once or twice.
Right. She was like, I didn't care. She was like, I was not going to keep going to that bathroom. I just went to sleep and just wet myself. She was like, it wasn't on purpose. And she said, when we went on vacation, she said, we just had to keep on stopping so I can use the bathroom. And she said, my parents just looked back at me and said, go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they were like basically telling you, just piss yourself. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my God.
It was like, I guess it was too much. I mean,
yeah. No, that's a good comeback though, especially from your parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, so many stories that I hear on a regular daily, and at the same time, all of these stories like they all come together at some point where I hear something that I've heard before. So we know like no two people living with type 1 diabetes are the same, but we do carry similarities. Like
100%.
We all need insulin to live. Like that, it's not an option. Have you ever felt like stigmatized for using insulin or having diabetes?
I mean, I have like, there's been like plenty of times I've gone to like a restaurant and at that point when I was using like insulin pens, people are just looking at you and you just, I don't really care if people look, but it's just when you know they can hear them like talking under their breath, like, oh my God, look at her. I'm just like, if you want to know something, why don't you just ask instead of saying stuff like that? And there also is like, even at work, like if I take it out on my desk or like a finger prick and like just to check my blood sugars or just need more insulin, there's always been people just staring and they're like, what's that? And then they assume it's the injections you have when you have allergic reaction. I can't remember.
EpiPen.
EpiPen, yeah. And they're like, is that EpiPen? I'm like, no.
I don't think anyone would personally give themselves an EpiPen.
Yeah, exactly. So I always say no. And then as a joke, I always be like, yeah, it's heroin. And everyone just looks at me and I'm like, no, it's insulin, don't worry.
Can't you tell by how chic I am? That whole Kate Moss effect.
Yeah. I was just like, you get those comments, but I'd rather people ask me if they're curious. I would rather them ask me instead of stare, because I feel like it's a bit weird just to stare at someone, like when they're doing something. And normally, like, I won't openly talk about diabetes, but if people ask me questions, then I'll tell them. Like, I'll answer them for them. I don't mind that.
It's like just, I mean, it's like if you just randomly tell someone, my favorite color is green. Like we don't do that. Like it's always been our favorite color.
Yeah.
Diabetes you've always had. Like I'm not just gonna say it, but if you ask me what's my favorite color, I'm gonna let you know my favorite shades are black, gray, and white. I love
Yeah.
those shades. Like
Um, yeah, no, I agree. Even like, so on Saturday, I did a trek for this charity that I kind of work with sometimes called Diathlete. And
okay.
it's basically the guy that runs it, his name's Gavin, and he runs it with his wife, Paola. And they basically, Gavin, like years ago, he did 25 marathons in a month. And he basically did that alongside managing his diabetes.
Mhm.
And now, like, I think he's still doing it, or maybe finished the challenge now. But he was basically going from one point in like UK to another point with like running, and then he did a trek, which I was a part of on Saturday. Early in the morning, I woke up at like 6:30, and two of my friends joined me as well, who are not diabetic, but they just joined me because they wanted support, which I thought was really nice. Um, yeah, it took about 3 hours in the rain, non-stop, which was fun. And halfway through the walk, my pod decided to deactivate. So I was like, this is fun. And out of all days, that's the one day I just didn't bring a spare with me. So I literally had to do the walk, not eat or drink anything, um, until I got like picked up from the other point. But yeah, that was just like a nice thing that like my friends did to like support me with this thing. And they woke up so early as well. So I was quite shocked they came.
I mean, but I mean, they showed that they were there for you.
Yeah. And I feel like it's
Just
really
just
nice. Like,
showing up means
yeah,
a lot.
showing up and having a good support system. I feel like, so all my friends that I know, I've mentioned it to them that I have diabetes just in case like I don't know, anything happens to me. I've told them what to do and what not to do. So yeah, it's good. I feel like when you have friends that actually like really care about you, they'll always check up on you and make sure you're okay.
Right. I mean,
And I
that's
feel like having that doing that trek as well is a good thing as well, because you're meeting new people. And most of them were across the way. I think that was two of them from like Costa Rica, or three of them. I can't remember. But yeah, meeting new people, I love it.
that you're a huge people person.
Um, do you know what? It's funny
Well,
enough.
not a people person as far as like talk about like introvert, extrovert, meaning like you're a people person.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
people.
yeah. Okay, I was gonna say because I like talking to people when I'm around people. I just don't. If I'm at home, I just won't talk to anyone.
Understood. Um Diathlete, that's what you said.
Yes,
The name
it's
of
yeah,
this.
diathlete. I can send it over to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I want to look into. I know quite a few people living with type 1 in the UK. I don't know if you've been able to like meet up with many of them. Have you ever been to a meetup?
So the diathlete charity, they do camps every year. So I've met a few people like throughout my life, but I wouldn't say. Actually, no, I should probably know more people online than I do in UK, as in like who have type one. But I feel that's maybe because I've like actively looked on Instagram or social
Right.
media.
Search for them.
Yeah, just type one diabetes and just
You
followed
you know it.
everyone.
Yep. Yep. Follow, follow, follow. Look, I remember that's what I did. Someone one time was like, "Who are all these people you're following?" I said, "Everyone that I follow and everyone that follows me have some kind of connection to type 1 diabetes." And I'm like, if you want to find someone like in your community or whatever, just search through through my followers. You'll find someone.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is so
Yep.
true.
And with that, I've been able to build like many communities all around of people living with type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
I spoke to someone about this recently. I had a young lady who reached out to me, and she's actually a pole dancer,
Oh,
and she was like, she's looking for other type one pole dancers. And I mean, I've been able to find people like a young lady was like, she needed insulin. So I created a group for Atlanta, Georgia, here in the US for her. And she was able to get insulin. And it's like 50 something people in that group. I created a group that's like 100 strong for the Philadelphia region on Instagram. I've created a group in Dallas, Fort Worth. But when she said the pole thing, I was like, but then I type it in, and now there's like 11 of them. Like, and they're not all in the US, like they're all around, like all pole dancers that have
that's,
type 1 diabetes.
I mean, that's the power of like social media, isn't it? Like
Hmm.
you can connect with people all around the world. You don't even know them, but you can still connect with them. As in, like, even for us, for example, I feel like I've never spoken to you before, and
Right.
I was speaking.
Look, and it's natural, like the conversation
Yeah.
is like, I mean, you're the sister that I never asked for. But I welcome you into my humble abode.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
yes, yes, yes. So, but next time you come, make sure you bring some of that jerk chicken.
Oh, okay, yeah. Do you know what? My boyfriend had a poker night the other night with all his friends, and it was the first time I've cooked for everyone. And I'm telling you, I've never spent so long in the kitchen in my life.
In your
And
life.
I'm not the type of person that enjoys cooking either. I spent 5 hours in that kitchen, but I just wanted to make sure everyone ate and they were happy with the food. And they were. And I was like, after that, I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit and chill now. And then I was like, I'm so tired, I can't.
I'm thinking right now that y'all need to go take a trip to visit your parents, because if you were to cook for 5 hours for all of those people, I think that boyfriend may need to be having a conversation soon with your father. Like,
The
yeah,
conversation's already been had.
okay,
Me and my boyfriend are 6 years in, so
okay,
maybe this year, who knows? Fingers crossed.
okay. Look, it's going to happen. Maybe I need to turn all this into a spreadsheet and send it to them. All of these notes.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a strategy for the planning up to now.
Right. He's that. I mean, he's going to make sure that it's perfect and it's going to be amazing. And look, best of love, life, everything to you too. Because I mean, there's
Oh,
nothing greater than love. Like
yeah,
seriously.
100%. Let's hope he doesn't annoy me till then, though.
Look, I mean, it always comes both ways.
To be fair, yeah, he is the yin to my yang.
Hmm.
Like we
Yes.
balance each other out. He's very like spreadsheets and everything, and I'm like very laid back. So we balance each other out.
I mean, you may have the heavy weight of the bag of diabetes, but it still balances out. I mean, he has man weight.
Yeah, yeah, he has man weight. I've just got diabetes weight.
Right. I mean, you have to, it takes longer for you to get screened going through like check-ins and airports, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To be fair, airports are really good. Like everyone that I've been into, they've been really good, like with checking me and not making like a big fuss that I've got something on me. So I feel like security I always dread as well. Like I know exactly what's going to happen, especially if it's the same airport I've been to. But I just dread going through security because I feel like something's going to happen and then everyone's just going to stare at me. But it never happens. It's just all in my head.
I was talking to a young lady from St. Croix a couple weeks ago, and she loves to travel. She travels everywhere. And we were talking about she was talking about how it would be preferred if there were more female security attendants, because it usually takes more time for a female to get searched due to they're
Wait.
not waiting for a
Yeah.
female to come about to search you. Yeah.
To be fair, well, I think I don't know why, but I feel I've been quite lucky because every time I've gone like to be searched, it's always been a female there. Um, Maybe it's just the time I'm going. I don't know, but yeah, I'm quite lucky that I don't have to wait too long, unless they've got like a queue of people that they need to search. But that doesn't really bother me.
Right. Um, how do you break through and be so like you're very positive, optimistic. I can see it all in you, but like I was talking about like stigmas previously with diabetes. Like when you hear these things or whatnot, how do you how do they affect you? How are you able to come out on the other side? And over the years, I mean, being diagnosed as a child and can be like children can be harsh at times. Like
Yeah.
how's your experience been?
I don't think I've had a bad experience with, like with other people. Like I've never been bullied or anything for it. It's just mainly people are just curious to see what it is. Like the Freestyle Libra, if you have it on your arm, people think it's a nicotine patch. I don't know if they look the same. They probably do because they always think it's a nicotine patch. And then it's just going from there and just explaining what it is and what it does. And most people that I do talk to or are curious about, they just want to know what it is and they want to learn more about it. Because then after like once you say it's diabetes, then it's just like, oh, did you get that for you eat too much sugar? Or do you, I don't know, did you have a bad diet or whatever it is, the normal like wording people say about diabetes. I don't think to me, I kind of like in my head, I think I've just kind of taken what people said but never let it affect me because it's always down to not being educated and there's not enough information about diabetes that people like willingly know about it. Like you don't really learn it in school apart from like the brief thing. And like that's just more like the micronisms and whatever it is. But yeah, I've always been that type of person that doesn't really take it to heart unless you're saying it in a way that's insulting. Then I'm just like, okay, you clearly don't know enough. Because I've had like there was one instance that I had at the workplace where my manager's manager, she used to like if I had like a hospital letter for like my eyes for the retinopathy screening, she would always be like, oh, my dad's got diabetes, and I'm like, okay. He's like, oh, my dad got the laser done in his eye. I'm like, okay. And I had a habit of just buying on my lunch break, going to like the supermarket and buying like cookies and cakes and stuff. Not for myself, but just for everyone on my team. And she would come up to me and be like, oh, are you sure should be eating that? And there was one point where I got so angry that I looked at my friend. She was like, don't say anything.
Don't say anything.
And then I didn't say anything, but I did end up crying. And yeah, it was a lot. And the HR didn't really do much either because I feel like she was just a higher manager that they didn't do anything. Okay, nice. Yeah, so basically we're going to this club and he was on the way there, he's like, oh yeah, this my cousin's girlfriend's sister is diabetic. And I was like, okay, that's nice. I didn't think anything of it after. And we get to the club that we went to, and the first thing he says is she was like, hello, this is Rakhi, and then we exchanged names and she was like, Rakhi's diabetic. Like this is my boyfriend saying, Rakhi's diabetic. And I'm like, that's so weird. That's a weird thing to say to someone.
Right.
Like
As an
as soon as I
introduction.
met them, yeah, as an introduction. And then he's like pointing at her arm. And then the girl that he was like introducing me to wasn't even diabetic. He just got confused with who it was. So I'm there like, this is really awkward. And
That is very
she's
awkward.
there very confused as well. Like, why is he saying this? And my boyfriend's just there like all happy, like, yeah, he's done something good. I'm like, no. And I had to put him to side. I was like, don't ever do that again. That was embarrassing.
Right. It's almost like like how there was like this huge like Pokemon craze.
Yeah.
And you show up somewhere like and like, oh, you got that card? You got that Pokemon card? I've been looking for that one.
Yeah.
They were not looking for this girl with diabetes. They didn't even have diabetes. They had a different kind of trading card.
Yeah. I did actually meet the girl that he was talking to eventually.
Did they look
She
alike?
was diabetic. She was diabetic and she was fine. Yep. He introduced me to the right person that time.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Look, he had good intentions.
He did. It just poorly executed.
Now I wonder if that one girl, the first girl, went back and told people like she's diabetic, or she's like watching you the whole time. Like, why is she drinking that?
To be fair, I actually made really good friends with her. So
Oh, with the non-diabetic.
yeah, it was
Look.
basically my cousin's girlfriend, sister. I should say wife because they're married now. My cousin's wife. Sorry, his cousin's wife's sister.
That's good. Oh, this conversation has been real fun filled. But I did want to tap into something because I heard you say something in the beginning stages of our conversation, and I circled it um when we were talking about diagnosis, you type 1, dad type 2, and then you were like my grandfather or
Yeah, grandfather.
yeah, I have that circled, my grandfather.
Yeah, he had type 1 diabetes. So every time I used to go to his, I used to see him take his injections before he used to eat, and do his finger prick as well. But we didn't really talk much about it. It was just mainly what I saw. I never really asked about it.
Was it like, were you already diagnosed at the time?
I think I was, yeah. Yeah, I must have been. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. But I don't know why I never really asked about it. I just never did.
I want to know if that's because like I've had people in my family like growing up that were diabetics, like even a first cousin that's a type 1 diabetic. And I never ever spoke about it to her until over like the last maybe 3 or 4 years when
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just
and
like an unspoken thing, I guess. And especially in family, I feel like you only talk about it if you really want to or if you need help with something. So I've got like a younger cousin that was diagnosed like a few years ago as well. And I remember everything that happened, and I could see like her going through like that transition trade of like not really wanting to test her blood sugars or like not missing injections or doing it after you've eaten, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like you kind of want to protect that person from not making the same mistakes you did, but you kind of have to let them make those mistakes so they kind of learn from it. Um, but yeah, it's really weird that no one really speaks about it in the family. You kind of have to outsource it, and it shouldn't really be like that, I guess.
right, and it's usually not until something happens. Like with my cousin, it wasn't until she was having complications at a young age, like retinopathy, neuropathy, different things. And now she's battling chronic kidney disease.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I found out about these complications that I actually reached out to her, knowing that, I mean, I do so much work in this community with helping people
Mhm.
best manage, be the best version of themselves. And now I'm like, if I can do that with other people, then I need to take the time to actually sit down and have a conversation with my cousin and see like what I can do to help her be the best version of herself.
Yeah,
And even if she doesn't, she may have not, I mean, she didn't at the time know like the different technologies, insulins, education that I learned on my own. So I was like, I have to gift this to her
yeah,
because I
yeah,
mean, that's family.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I hope she's okay.
She's good. She's better today, and she always just posts these like enlightening posts talking about I can't wait till all this is done because I'm going to go out and do this and that, and she might be she's talking about going out to the club, pointing at the other diabetics, and
Diabetic night out. Yay!
yeah. So I mean, yeah, she's doing good. So she's managing a lot better today. She had a healthy baby girl 2 years
Oh,
ago. I
nice.
mean, her A1C look went from above 17, her HbA1c 17 to now 6 in the sixes. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Well done to her.
yep. So that's I mean, that's just if I can help other people, then I can help her as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
So your younger cousin, how old was Is this a girl or a boy?
Yeah, she's a
She.
girl. How old was she? I want to say mm, maybe like 12 or 13 when she got diagnosed. I
Do you
think.
remember yourself at 12 or 13 living with diabetes?
Mm, no.
Like when you became a teenager and was telling your parents, I know everything?
Yeah, I mean, I remember saying I know everything and leave me alone.
Mhm.
Do you know what used to irritate me? And it still kind of does now sometimes, but I feel like it's just like a trauma reflex. Is when someone tells me to test my blood sugars. I hate it. When someone tells me
Right.
to do it, I don't like it. I want to do it on my own accord.
Right. Just because you think I'm feeling a certain way. Or, I
Yeah.
mean, we know that, I mean, once adrenaline kicks in, it's like nothing we can't do almost. We're like
And
superheroes.
it's weird because I purposely won't do it then because you've asked me to do it.
Hmm.
It's just a weird thing. So when every time even when my boyfriend says it, he was like, go test your blood sugars, I'm like, don't tell me what to do. But he's probably right. I should, but I just don't want to because he's told
Right.
me to do it.
Right. Just stay quiet for 5 minutes and I'll go check it
Yeah.
after those 5 minutes. Like literally. Yeah. Yeah. I remember those days.
But I still do it. That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. And you said you remember your grandfather actually pricking his fingers?
Yeah, he used to. I remember he used to do like his prayers, and then he would
Mhm.
had his glucose monitor there, so he would take it out, finger prick. I'm assuming whatever it is, he would just take the insulin for it. So whatever he was eating, and then yeah, that's it. Or eat, then go back to his chair or whatever he's doing, and just relax. And that was like the only thing I can remember seeing. I don't remember anything else.
Now, with your family, did type 1 skip a generation, or like do you have like any aunts or
So
uncles?
yeah, I feel like most of the people that have it that I know now got it while they're in like the older ages. So like I've got an uncle that has it now. He's got type 2. Um, who else has it? I'm pretty sure there's like wider family that have it as well, but I'm not entirely sure which one it is, type 1 or type 2. I did have a cousin that got gestational diabetes when she was pregnant, and then after she gave birth, it went away. So yeah, I've heard of that experience as well. And the only two that I can recall is like my uncle with type 2 and my cousin with type 1.
Do you know the age of your grandfather when he was diagnosed? Maybe.
Um, no, but I can ask my mum. I'm not too sure.
Mhm. That's, I mean, I found out that like my great grandmother, she had type 1. That's what she actually passed from.
Oh no.
She like undiagnosed, but it says it on her death certificate, death due to acidosis
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. So and I just found that out like fall 2022, and like I never met her. My mom never met her, like because she passed at a younger age and all
Yeah.
that stuff, So like with I'm not sure if it skipped a generation. Like from my great matter of fact, we're almost certain that my grandmother had type 1 also because she passed 20 years ago from cancer, but she also during her treatments she got diagnosed with diabetes,
Oh,
and from onset she was taking two different types of insulin, long acting and a short acting insulin. So that may I mean that shows that maybe the generation was skipped off like my parent, like my
yeah,
mom, but
maybe. I
mhm.
think at the time though, when I was diagnosed, I don't think anyone had it that I knew. It's just like later on as I grew up, more people were getting it.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, maybe it skips a generation to a certain point.
Are you the diabetes guru in your family?
um,
Like
to,
someone gets diagnosed, let's ask Rocky a question.
to be fair, yeah, when my cousin got diagnosed, my mum told me, and she was like, "Go speak to her," and I was like, "You can't. It's not one of those things you just like go
Right.
and start speaking about it because then it's just like, whoa,
Mhm.
information overload. Like I don't need to know all that." You need to kind of ease it in.
It's like when we were growing up and if we were go to like a family or social gathering and there's people we don't know and your mom's like, oh, that's your cousin so and so. Go talk to them. Go play with them.
Yeah,
Like you don't even
I
speak to
don't
them
want to.
until it's time to leave. Like I don't know those people. That's how my daughter is like. She's like, I don't know those people. I'm like, those are
Yeah,
your cousins.
yeah. My parents love doing that, and I'm just like, see, I won't actually really go out and speak to people unless I have to, or unless I have to be in the mood for it. If I'm like tired and I don't like, I'm just in that mood, I just want to do what I want to do, be in my own world, then that's what I'll do. But if I have to be in a social setting, like networking, if I'm at work and I'm in like a networking event, I have to actively put myself out there. And sometimes I'm like, if I'm not in the mood, I'm just, I really can't be bothered to talk right now.
Right. Like, yeah, you do have to be in the mood. I mean, we're managing a chronic health condition
Yeah,
nonstop. So to tell someone like go and do this, like it's never that easy for us.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I don't know if you drive, but like say it's an emergency situation and like someone calls you and like so and so needs help here, and you go run out to your car and hop in, and then you're all the way down the highway and you realize I forgot my diabetes stuff at home.
yeah.
Like we can't just hop and go. So with
No,
that,
I agree. Yeah, no. Do you know what? There was one time. So me and my family went on holiday to, I think it was Alicante or Mallorca or somewhere, and we got off the plane and got on the transfer. And I used to have this bag that had all my medical supplies in, and I think I must have been like 7 or 8 or something. So my mum was carrying it for me, and this was like our transfer was like a massive coach
mhm.
for like 5 people. I don't know why, but it was a massive coach. We got to our apartment, we got upstairs, and my mum was like, "Go do your insulin because we're gonna eat in a minute." So I'm looking through all the bags, and I'm like, "I don't see it. Like, where is it?" And my mum's like, "It's there, it's there," and I'm like, "It's not here." And then she told, as she was getting off the coach, she told my brother to pick up the bag, but I don't think my brother heard her. So he left the bag on the coach, and then the transfer went. And then my mum was like, "Oh my God, what are we going to do? You've got no insulin that had everything in it." And then she started panicking. And then she was like to my dad, try and call them, see if they can come back. It's got all her medication in, like she needs it. Managed to get it back, but don't know how, I can't remember. I think my dad must have rang the transfer company, got it back, and then she started getting angry at everyone. She was like, "You nearly harmed Rakhi," and I'm like, "It's fine. Like, it's not a big deal.
Right,
Like,
it's handled now.
yeah, yeah, I've got my insulin, I can eat."
Mhm. It's probably was just more so, mom's intuition on things like even after and like if you were involved in an accident or whatever, even after that accident and you're all like she's holding you, hugging you, like my baby's okay. She's still going to be irate towards the person that was
Yeah,
involved, and like even if it wasn't that person's fault, like if you ran out in the street or what, she's still going to be like, "Why did you do this? How could you not see this baby? Why did you take her bag of insulin? How did you know?"
yeah,
They're like, "I did not know. I didn't. They didn't leave the bag."
yeah. No, I agree. Do you know, there's only one time that I've had like a situation I'm like, "Oh like I can't believe this happened." But it's that I was shopping in like a shopping center, and had my phone in my pockets, in my coat. My coat didn't have a zip. So I had my wireless headphones and my phone's in my pocket. And as I'm walking around the store, I keep checking my pockets to see my phone's there. It's still there. At one point, I take it out, check the time, put it back in my pocket, and after that, my phone and everything is gone. And I asked the store manager, I was like, "Can you check the CCTV cameras?" It just happened so where my phone got stolen was a blind spot. So they have no one caught anything. And then there was me like, "Oh my God, I need to check my sugars," and trying to go for my phone. My phone's not there. I'm like, "Oh crap, like no, well now what do I do?" Luckily I only lived like 10 minutes away from the shopping centre. So I went home, got my old phone, downloaded everything again, rang the police, like, "This is my phone, got stolen, blah 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 blah." Um, managed to claim back on insurance, but that point, I was just like, oh my God, I feel lost without my phone. Like, I
It was
don't know
just
what my triggers are.
it was a panic.
It was a panic, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I had my blood sugar meter on me, but I didn't want to take it out. I just wanted it on, like, on my phone.
Right, on your phone. I mean, because I mean, we're people living with diabetes. We want everything to be easier for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to be overwhelmed in anything. Just make
Yeah.
life,
100%.
everything a smooth transition, and it'll make our lives so much easier and better and managing.
Yeah. So I've recently got closed loop. I've never had it before. So I feel like game changer. Like, why wasn't this there before?
Have you lost the controller, the Omnipod 5 controller at all?
No. Normally, if I have like normally my phone and the Omnipod controller are always together. There's only certain cases where I've forgotten where I put it, but it's touch wood. It's always a time where I need to change my pod. So if I forget where I put it, I just try and listen out for the vibration because the vibration is quite loud. And normally it's just like under a pillow on the sofa.
I've lost my controller so many times.
Really? As in, like, lost it, so you have to get a replacement?
No, I mean,
Okay.
like misplaced it like half the day, like spent looking for like flipping couches and everything, like searching back and forth in the car. So this past winter, I don't know, it was fall or winter. I I don't know if y'all have like Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, I don't have to eat pizza, but yeah, I know what you're talking
right.
about.
So Domino's pizza, I went there to get they have like this pasta thing and for my daughter. And I ordered the food and I went to go pick it up. Me and my pup got in the car and we drove there. And then once I got back home, I'm like, I get in the house, I'm like, reaching in my pockets, I'm like, where's my controller? And I'm searching all over the house, tearing everything up, in and out of the car, and it's dark outside. I'm out there with a flashlight. I'm asking my pup, I'm like, can you find it, boy? Can you find it? And he's like running around
Yeah.
in the night, and I'm like searching under the car seats and everything. So I'm like, so yeah, I was like, where is it, pup? Like he's like searching all over the place, and I checked I have cameras inside and outside of my home, and
Yeah.
I'm looking through my cameras. I'm like, I don't see it anywhere. After about an hour and a half, I decide that I'm going to call Domino's. So I was like, maybe it fell out my pocket or something while I was at Domino's. So I called the Domino's, and the manager, he answers the phone. I'm like, have you seen an Android looking device? Did I leave it behind? And he goes, oh yeah, I found it. He's like, I almost drove over it in the parking lot. He's like, but I knew to hold on to it because I saw it said something about it belongs to some kind of organization. He said, I knew this was a drug phone.
I mean, he's
Yes.
not wrong. It is related to drugs, but not that
Right,
kind of
right. He thought I was trapping out of Domino's.
I have had those occasions where I've been at work and I don't have been told like many people that people know I've got diabetes, but when they see the controller, they always think it's a trap phone. And like there was one time I was at lunch and I was sitting there and I was just typing all my like carbs in and stuff, and then I press enter, put it on the side, and then my manager goes, "Oh, is that your trap phone?" And I was like, "No, it's what gives me insulin." And then because I gave him that reaction,
Mm-hmm.
he felt really bad, and I was like, "No, it's fine. I get it all the time." It's actually quite funny. But he felt so bad that he said it because he was like, "Oh my God, I'm a manager. I should know that." I'm like, "It's fine. It's not that deep."
Right. He thought you were starting a new episode on Netflix.
Yeah.
What's the name of the series? Based in the UK.
Top Boy.
Top Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
I've
watched
actually
that?
not watched Top Boy, but yeah.
Yeah, I've watched it.
See, I can't watch it. I find it too cringe.
Yeah, I understand.
But my boyfriend loves it. But I was like, if I want to see that, I can just go out in London to
Out,
see it.
right,
I don't
right.
need
Go
to
outside. I'm pretty sure they got someone flying over, like recording everything, and there's a channel, CCTV channel, like you can just tune into and watch it all. Look, recently, someone shared with me on like Facebook, there's these drones that are flying around in Los Angeles, California,
Mm.
and they're flying around in this area where it's heavy in prostitution, and look, and everyone's like the drones are like circling around everyone,
Yeah,
like it's crazy. I said,
free promo. Like that's what it is, free promo.
yeah, I said this is wild. Like,
No,
mm-mm-mm.
that's yeah. I feel like it's a bit. That's what technology does, though. It does. People just come up with weird ideas, and then that happens.
Right. So, this has been a truly great conversation, and I wanted to lead into something, a question that I do ask everyone, because
Okay.
we're talking about like basically like how diabetes like at sometimes it can become overwhelming. We've all reached points of burnout, especially as adults living with it. I have a question that I want to ask you. So just listen to it before you answer,
Okay.
because everyone's most people like dive into it, be like, no, that's not happening. On the day that a cure is here, what will you do, Rocky?
Sure. Someone's asked me this question before. I actually wouldn't do anything because I feel like I've got diabetes. If I don't have it, it's basically all I've known my whole life. So I've
That's
just
the big mystery.
yeah, I'll be so lost. Like I'll be like, I'll be sitting there if I have this cure and I'm just eating food, but they'll feel like something's missing because it's all I've ever known. So as much as I say I would love to cure, I don't think I would do much with it if it was there, and it'll probably be mad expensive as well. So just that's a dumb thing to do as well. Like I don't want to be in debt just to have a cure. I'd rather just live with it because that's what I know.
You know, people in the US, when I ask them this question, you know what they say? Like they're going to go splurge on
Yeah.
everything. They're like, I don't have to put. I'm telling you, here on average, it's upwards of like $7,000 to $10,000 per year, American dollars, US dollars, here to manage type 1 diabetes. And that's a lot of money when you consider
I
like
think-
housing, food, insecurities, and like it's crazy.
yeah, I agree. But I feel like yeah, I feel like everyone's gonna have a different answer because it's where they live, the health system is there. It's gonna differ for everyone. Um, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think as much as I would love to have a cure, I don't think I'd do anything with it.
Right. Because you did mention having a closed loop system now today. Like you've been truly a part of the whole transitioning of, I guess, like regular to um human insulin, and
Yeah,
the advent of faster acting insulin. And you've all like, it wasn't something like you tested and you read, like you weren't a part of the research study, but you are a part of the research study
yeah,
since you were diagnosed so young.
yeah. And you have like nutritionists that you speak to telling you like what to eat, what you can't eat. I mean, when you started carb counting, I thought that was mind boggling. I was like, why do I have to count carbs in all my food? And then you have to weigh food. Then it's like some next math like equation. I'm just like, this is too much. I just want something to do it for me. And now I have something that does it for me. So yeah, game changer. But
Game.
I feel like it's only ever going to keep changing.
Right. How has the system been for you, using that closed loop?
So it's actually been really good. Like so before I was on closed loop, my alarms throughout the night would just go off non-stop. And it's mainly having a hypo alarm. It just for some reason I always used to have a hypo
Mhm.
around 3,
Three.
4 a.m. And my boyfriend hated me because he just used to always interrupt his sleep. And like, it got to a point where I just like, if I feel like my alarm's going to go off, I'm going to sleep in another room. And even when I'm on holiday with my friends as well, I'm like, well, when I was like, I'm going to sleep in the living room away from everyone. So my alarms don't go off and it wakes you up because because alarms are quite like alerting, which obviously they're meant to be. But if for someone that's used to it, I don't want to scare them. So, yeah, since being on closed loop, no alarms at night. It's just a nice straight line, which is like what I love. So, yeah, I feel like closed loop is a game changer for me, but it doesn't work for everyone. So,
Right. I know that once you told your parents like about this closed loop system, they're probably some more mystified than anyone in this world. Like, how? I don't believe well, how can you trust that? Like,
yeah,
because I mean, they were taking care of this baby and pricking her little fingers and probably toes and
yeah,
everything. Like, now you have a system that's doing the majority of this for you.
yeah. Do you know what? I wish the Omnipod 5 though. I wish I didn't have to change it every 3 days. I wish it just lasts the whole week. That's another. I feel like that would be in the near future, but that'd be a game changer.
Look, even if that means taking 3 pods and putting them together and looping them together somehow to be able to hold more insulin, and after one's done, the next one starts.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's such a great idea, right?
Yeah. Let's put it in the cloud and see if someone catches it. Yeah, but I truly enjoy embarking on this journey with you. Is there anything that we did not cover that you wanted to make sure that we cover in this space?
Not really. I wasn't. To be fair, I didn't know what I was expecting when we came on this course, so I was just going with the flow.
I told you it was going to be as organic as possible. It's just a
You did say that.
conversation with community that need to be heard. And Rakhi, I can say that you need to be heard. People need to see and hear you because you're a light in this otherwise dim space. Because living with a chronic health condition, I know that you've lived with it for so long that it's like just second nature, if not first nature at times. But to many people that are newly diagnosed or parents that are helping manage a child, they're able to see someone like yourself and see how you are today. Um, Diabetes has not altered or changed the person that you are in the present or the person that you will be in the future. It's just something you live with and you live through.
Yeah, 100%. And there are quite a few like communities out there, like big communities as well. So, and I do follow a woman called Lauren. I can't remember her last name, but she basically runs a organization called Risely. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I know who you're talking about. She has the
Yeah, so
podcast and
yeah, she does the
coaching.
yeah. I haven't done the coaching program, but I see her reviews all the time. And I do want to do it at one point, but need money first. So let me save up. But yeah, there's Lauren. There's also the charity I mentioned earlier, Diathlete, Diabetes UK as well. They're good for like anyone really that's newly diagnosed. It has a lot of information on there, like basic information, but if you want to get to know a bit more, it's a good place to go. But yeah, happy to chat again anytime soon.
Thank you. And the next time we'll chat, um, your ring finger will be flooded with ice. I may have to show up a little hot because I'm not trying to be too cold like how you are right now, bundled up in the UK.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put my finger straight to the camera.
Yeah. Yup. So, good brother, when you do hear this, because I'm sure Rakhi will share it with you, I just want to let you know that you are more than appreciated because the work that you're putting, the action you're putting in, the love you're putting in to Rakhi is not only benefiting her, but it's benefiting our community as well. People that live with chronic health conditions often see or don't see themselves finding the true love and people that will devote their time and space and energy and helping them be the best version of themselves. And I can see by the smile from end to end, from beginning to end, that you are truly doing that for Rakhi. So I'm
He's
giving
gonna be so gassed.
I'm giving him his flowers as long as he doesn't make a spreadsheet about me. Thank you.
No, he's gonna love that. Thank you.